From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. Good evening, I'm Sharon Masquinius.
And I'm Thilina Udayaratna. For starters, we take a look at the top stories for tonight.
The first Sri Lankan coronavirus patient identified in the country has recovered and been released from the hospital. The president extends many benefits for the public with the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. The public show a higher tendency in following the instructions given by the health authorities after lifting the curfew. Essential commodities are provided for the public without any shortage. 23 inmates have been killed in a riot and attempted escape over coronavirus fears in Colombia.
And on your top local story this evening, the curfew imposed in the Colombo, Gampaha and Puttlam districts, along with the 5 districts in the northern province, will be lifted at 6 a.m. tomorrow. The curfew will be reimposed in those areas at 12 noon and will be in effect until 6 a.m. on Friday. The curfew in the remaining districts, which was lifted this morning at 6 a.m., was reimposed at 2 p.m. today and will be effective until 6 a.m. on Thursday. The curfew in the relevant areas will be reimposed at 12 noon on the same day. The transportation within all districts and sightseeing tours for foreign nationals have been banned. Farmers have been permitted to continue work within the districts during the curfew period. Transportation of essential goods including rice and vegetables have been permitted during the curfew. The government has informed that the Minister for Agriculture is carrying out the relevant tasks in an efficient manner. Meanwhile, Vavuniya District Secretary Saman Bandusena has informed the public to refrain from taking part in any religious observances or activities in the district due to the prevailing situation. This decision was reached following the attention directed on the incident occurred at a religious establishment in Jaffna. The district secretary stated that severe action will be taken against the violators of the law. Steps have been taken to distribute essential food items through mobile transportation services. No residents of the northern province has been barred from travelling to other areas until further notice. The police as well as the Sri Lanka Army have been deployed to relevant areas in this regard. Sri Lanka Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva has said that the curfew is still in effect due to the recent visit of a priest in Jaffna. Another person has been identified as COVID-19 positive yesterday. Many people have been detected to have affiliated with the identified person and they have been informed to self-quarantine. He requested the people in Jaffna to self-quarantine as a possibility prevails in contracting the disease from the secondary and tertiary contacts of the identified patients.
ස්වං නිරෝධානයට ලක් වෙන්නේ කියලා උන්ගෙන් අපි බොහොම කරුණාවෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටු ලබනවා.
1,754 people have been arrested during the period from 6 p.m. on the 20th of March until 6 a.m. today for violating the curfew laws. 447 vehicles have also been taken into police custody. The majority of the persons taken into custody have been for idling on roads, while others have been arrested in connection to gathering as a crowd in a playground and consuming alcohol, travelling in vehicles without permits, offensive behaviour on the roads under the influence of alcohol, and carrying out trade-related activities. Relevant police stations are expected to take legal action against these offenders. DIG Ajit Rohan has said that the police curfew has been imposed as a precautionary step to avoid the spread of the virus. He requested the public to refrain from leaving their residences even during the curfew period unless for an essential matter. He also requested to refrain from travelling to other areas. If the people fail to cooperate with the measures taken by the government and health authorities, the undertaken efforts will be futile. The National Task Force for Coronavirus has not made requests for donations or carried out similar campaigns. Therefore, he requested the public not to be deceived from these campaigns and promotions on social media platforms.
ඒ නිසා ඒ සඳහා ඍජු දායකත්වය
The first coronavirus infected patient who was detected in the country has fully recovered and left the infectious disease hospital today. The recovered patient was a chauffeur guide who was confirmed to be infected with the disease on March 11th. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachchi said that the first Sri Lankan patient admitted to the hospital has recovered completely and left the hospital accordingly. She then extended her gratitude for the health service and all relevant medical staff, including specialist doctors, for committed in eradicating the virus. She said that the country has managed to limit the spread of the disease with the guidance, opportunity and instructions given by the President to the health authorities to carry out their relevant task.
ඒ සඳහා අවශ්‍ය මඟ පෙන්වීම කරමින් මේ කටයුත්ත කරන්නට සෞඛ්‍ය අංශවලට ලබා දෙන ආශිර්වාදය නිසාම තමයි මම විශ්වාස කරනවා අද මේ තත්ත්වයෙන් මේ රට අපට මුදව ගන්න පුළුවන්කම ලැබෙන්නේ.
අද දින සිට ක්‍රියාත්මක වන පරිදි
Dr. Anil Jayasinghe said that the Homagama Hospital will admit persons suspicious to be infected with the COVID-19 virus from today onwards. The Chinese woman who was identified to be contracted with the disease had also recovered from the viral infections and left the hospital recently. The confirmed cases of the coronavirus patients in the country has escalated to 91 after reporting 4 new confirmed cases today. Medical examinations are underway over another 227 persons on the suspicions of contracting the disease. 78 patients confirmed to be infected with the disease are currently being treated at the IDH. Another 8 patients are receiving treatments at Valikanda Base Hospital. 2 patients are currently in the intensive care unit of the infectious disease hospital. The health authorities have requested the elderly persons to stay indoors as they are more prone to be affected with the disease. The most number of confirmed cases has been reported from the Colombo district with 19 patients. 10 people have been detected from the Gampar district, 8 confirmed cases from the Kalathura district, 6 from the Puttalam district and 3 cases were identified from the Ratnapura district. Kurunagala, Gaul, Kegol, Batiklo, Badulla and Jaffna districts have recorded 1 patient each. 32 patients are receiving treatments at quarantine centres, while 2 foreign nationals are also receiving treatments in the country. 3,518 persons have been directed to 45 quarantine centres at present. 15,000 returnees from foreign countries and other travellers arrived during the period of March 1st to the 15th have registered through the telephone lines introduced by Defence authorisers. Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva said that the first group of people has spent the period of 14 days under quarantine at present. Accordingly, he said that the President has instructed to release the first group of people consist of close to 350 persons from the quarantine centres. He said that the residents in their respective areas should not be feared over their arrival to their residences. He said that they were quarantined and not treated for the disease. However, he said that these persons should adhere to instructions given to them by the doctors in the next couple of days. Sri Lanka High Commission in New Delhi has mentioned that all Sri Lankan pilgrims who were in India have returned to the country. Accordingly, 233 out of 444 persons arrived to the country from India during the last 2 days have been directed to Palali Quarantine Centre. 162 persons have been directed to Mullaitivu Quarantine Centre, while another 48 have been directed to Kundasali Quarantine Centre. Meanwhile, a resident in Hambantota area was strictly warned by the health authorities after receiving complaints over him as he had visited several places in his residential area without adhering to the instructions given to self-quarantine. He has worked in a tourist hotel and affiliated with a foreign national who is currently receiving treatment at the IDH. In other stories, the government has issued instructions to the heads of state institutions to be followed to maintain the state mechanism without any disruption amid controlling the spread of the corona pandemic within the country. President Secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara issued the relevant circular today. Accordingly, a series of instructions have been directed to all secretaries of ministries, chief secretaries of the provincial councils, district secretaries, government agents, department heads, chairpersons of state corporations, constitutional boards, general managers and state sector employees via a circular. According to the President's decree and the series of instructions issued on March 19, the state sector employees should engage in the distance servicing providing mechanism from their residences from today until March 27th. Department and unit heads said to provide necessary instructions to carry out the duties via SMS and telephone calls. This period will not be considered to be a government holiday and the employees should be prepared to connect via telecommunication devices for their relevant duties. Carrying out official functions from home would ensure self-quarantine while avoid public gatherings in railway and bus stations in an unnecessary manner. This would also assist in carrying out essential services, electricity supply, telecommunication, full banking services, transportation and distribution of goods without a disruption in an efficient manner. The government has requested to refrain from engaging in leisure tours and visiting petrol stations, bars, shops and restaurants as well. The President has emphasized that the nation is responsible in hoarding goods beyond the required quantities as ample food rations, water and fuel are available in the country at present. Steps have been taken to pay the salaries of all state sector employees today. The government has requested the public to utilize the opportunity to clean the surroundings of their respective residences and for the cultivation of essential crops. The government has requested to all state sector employees to utilize the time to engage with religious, educational, entertainment and informative programs on television and radio services. Meanwhile, stories back at home, government and opposition party politicians have come forward to provide relief for the public with the spread of the coronavirus. They have been poised with the objective to fulfill their responsibilities to the maximum on behalf of the general public. Steps have been taken to provide an essential food ration pack worth 1,000 rupees for the Samruddhi beneficiaries in Gampha district. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that this program to distribute food packs to the doorsteps of the people via cooperative societies will be carried out even during the period of police curfew. He made these remarks at a meeting held at the Various Services Cooperative Society of Minuwangoda today. The packing of the food rations took place in Minuwangoda today. Meanwhile, former Minister Vajira Abeyewardena gave away face masks for the people in Galle City recently.
The government has taken steps to provide essential food rations for the people in the districts in which the curfew will be temporarily lifted tomorrow without any shortage. Adequate quantities of food rations will be provided under fair price rates. The government took measures to provide essential food rations for the people in the districts in which the curfew will be temporarily lifted today without any shortage. This was carried out under the special program conducted to provide essential food rations and goods via cooperative and Satosa outlets in accordance to the instructions of the President and the Prime Minister. Plans have been made to distribute essential food items for the remaining districts after lifting the curfew without any shortage. Satosa stores distributed essential goods for the public today. A special program was initiated with the support of the Sri Lanka Army to distribute essential food rations. The trading activities have escalated in economic centres with the lifting of the curfew. More than 700,000 kilograms of vegetable quantities have been exchanged at the Tamuttegama Economic Centre, which usually trade approximately 500,000 kilograms of vegetables on a daily basis. The management of the Tamuttegama Economic Centre initiated a special program to prevent the sale of vegetables for a higher rate due to the prevailing situation. Large crowds had gathered at the Dambulla Economic Centre this morning. Certain vegetables have been sold at lower price rates as difficulties had occurred in the storing of the stocks of vegetables. The All Ceylon Egg Producers Association has taken steps to supply adequate quantities of eggs for food preparation in quarantine centres. This move has been made in accordance to a request made by the Prime Minister of the association. Accordingly, 50,000 eggs were handed over to the Sri Lanka Army Supply Division at Temple Trees this morning. According to a request made by the Prime Minister, the association has also taken steps to sell an egg at a rate of 10 rupees considering the prevailing situation. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has stated that adequate quantities of fuel are available in the country for future use. Measures have been made to distribute sufficient quantities of fuel without any shortage at present. Meanwhile, the Civil Defence Corps has taken steps to provide a pack of dry rations worth 500 rupees for people living in Colombo and in the suburbs from tomorrow onwards. Necessary measures have been taken to distribute the dry ration packs from the Civil Defence Corps headquarters in Valisara for relevant areas. Director of the Civil Defence Department, Rear Admiral Ananda Piris, observed the relevant preparations. A decision has been reached to provide a pack of essential goods and vegetables for Samurdhi beneficiaries in Gampaha. This will be carried out under the basis to deduct the amount from their Samurdhi grant. The distribution of the pack of essential goods and vegetables will be carried out covering the Gampaha district. A similar program to distribute essential food rations and goods to the doorsteps of the people in Alpitia as well as state institutions has been initiated by the relevant authorities and divisional secretariat. The Moratuwa Municipal Council has also taken steps to provide dry ration packs for 8,500 families in the area on free of charge. A program to distribute essential food rations and goods to the doorsteps of the people in Kaduwela was initiated today. Now, in other news, large crowds were seen flocking into the cities to purchase essential goods this morning after lifting the curfew. It was significant to observe that all people who arrived into the cities carried out their activities while following the instructions directed by the government and the health sector. Large crowds gathered at various places including markets and petrol stations without adhering to any health precautionary instructions following the announcement of the curfew on the 20th of March. Considering the responsible behavior of the majority of the people, health authorities, security units and religious leaders requested the general public to act in a disciplined and responsible manner. Directing special attention on the instructions and guidance, the general public were influenced to act accordingly today. The government informed that only one person from residence should visit outside to fulfill the requirements of the family. A special instruction was given for the public arriving at supermarkets to purchase goods to queue up by maintaining a minimum distance of 1 meter. People who are under self-quarantine were requested to refrain from visiting crowd places. As per government information, facilities to wash hands should be set up in front of all shops while limiting the consumers entering market premises. Well, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has decided to grant many benefits for the public inconvenienced over the spread of the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. All the granted benefits will be effective from today. The Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has requested all ministry secretaries, chief secretaries of provincial councils and all heads of banks and financial institutions to take steps to provide these benefits for the public. Accordingly, payments for revenue tax and VAT, fee to renew the driver's license, water bills below 15,000 rupees, validity period for bank checks and monthly payment for credit cards below 5,000 rupees have been extended till the 30th of April. The payment of leasing loan installments of three-wheelers has been suspended for 6 months. The charging of debts from the salaries of the employees of the state sector and non-management staff of the private sector has also been postponed till the 30th of May. Steps have been taken to halt the payment of personal loans below 1 million obtained from banks and financial institutions, which have been suspended for 3 months. Trainee allowance of the selected graduates for the new job opportunities for the month of March will be deposited into their bank accounts. Agrahara insurance benefits for the state sector employees, including health, police and civil defense engaged in COVID-19 eradication, has been doubled. A concessionary period of 6 months have been granted for small and medium-scale businesses in tourism and apparel industries, and those amounts will be reevaluated by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. In addition, the financial market will be stabilized within a 7% interest rate when the Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, National Savings Bank, Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, Employees Provident Fund, Employees Trust Fund jointly invest on treasury bonds and bills. Local transactions up to 50,000 rupees worth monthly credits will be under an interest of 15% and the minimum monthly payment will be reduced by 50%. Also, branches of banks will remain open during the curfew lifting periods for the people to receive a maximum service from their respective banks. Sri Lanka Port, Customs and other relevant institutes will supply essential food rations, fertilizer, medicine and fuel on a continuous basis. Samurdhi beneficiaries and Samurdhi card holders can obtain an interest-less advance payment of 10,000 rupees from Samurdhi banks. Lanka Satosa and cooperative markets have been free from VAT and other provincial taxes and fees. Title certificates will be issued for Samurdhi and low-income families by the Samurdhi authorities. Sri Lanka government has allocated $5 million for the SARC Corona Fund.